legitimate, they would claim the child, but the child would be recorded as illegitimate. And they did claim the child as illegitimate by the king's orders and the king's command. So if you look up an oil painting of what King Christian VIII looked like, he looks exactly like me. I have his ears, I have his nose and chin, I have his cheekbones. In other words, I look exactly like him. I'm a spitting image of the King of Denmark, Christian VIII. And the way that we can prove that, in addition to my face and my looks, the way that we can prove it on paper is by tracing it from parent to parent by using valid and certified documentation. So my birth certificate shows who my parents are, and their birth certificates show who their parents are, and etc. by using census records, and you trace the records all the way back to the island of Thea and Amram and Silt in the Frisian Islands, and then you match up the records to their property records and their immigration records of when they came to the U.S., and you'll find that there are other newspaper clippings and etc. further proving that they lived down the road. And then you will find the books that the king demanded to be written about. So that's the way that we can prove it, in addition to my face and my ears and teeth. So we can prove that we are illegitimate from the King of Denmark and Norway, Christian VIII. Christian VIII, we were told by the royal family that Christian VIII was a schizophrenic, and he also had multiple personality disorder. We know a lot about Christian VIII, and my other relatives know a lot about Christian VIII because we were told by them. And another relative had actually gone to Germany and spoken with them over there. So we are illegitimate, and I think they said that we can't really get anything out of it, but we're looking for more acknowledgement, you know? So let's see. What happened after that was that the kingdom of Denmark was actually on the brink of poverty, and they ended up funding some stuff in what became like the U.S. Well, what became that era after the U.S. and the colonies and stuff were formed. I mean, we're talking like mid to late 19th century. So it was on the brink of poverty, and there were really no goods flowing into Denmark or the Frisian Islands, and people left in troves. They left the islands and they immigrated to the U.S. So my Rolf's ancestors, being my great-great-grandmother, came to the U.S. and they settled in Missouri. So Christian VIII, the King of Denmark and Norway, is actually my great-great-grandfather by blood. And they started several towns in Missouri, and they started a post office there, where they then started the original School of Mines. So they started it and they taught it. They taught in the School of Mines in Missouri, and they contributed a lot of things to the formation of Missouri State and the town named Clementine in Missouri. They started the town named Clementine in Missouri, and after that they ended up moving to, some of the family ended up moving to Oklahoma, but it was actually called Indian Territory when they moved to that, and they were given land grants in something called the Sooner Land Rush. The Sooner Land Rush was a land grab that was given to families before the Oklahoma Land Rush, and then they started towns in Oklahoma, And ultimately, they lost a lot of their property and farms in the Dust Bowl, and they ended up moving to Bakersfield, California, and Los Angeles, California, as well as 2 different places in California. So that's the story on that.